All right, everybody, welcome back to the Xavier Klein Owner Series here on Madden 24. We are now heading into the offseason. The Rams fell short, ending the year at 9-8. Honestly, the team performed in a way that I was very proud of. We were not supposed to be where we're at. But when you look at certain things on this team, we saw some great performance. Matthew Stafford led the league with 5,194 yards passing. But one of the things that we have to pay attention is the interception-touchdown ratio. He had a little trouble once we were heading into the red zone, and he ended up with only 26 touchdowns this year. But completion percentage was pretty strong. His yards per attempt were pretty decent, and in my opinion, he played as well as a 15-year veteran can do. From a rushing perspective, you look at Zach Evans, who led the team, and he had 234 attempts with 1,178 yards, 5 yards per carry, 15 touchdowns, 40 broken tackles, and he had a 60-yard run. Like, this is the kind of things that I really believe in. Now, he's been a nice back, and we have to think about, like, is there going to be some other pieces we like to add? Because we do have Kyren Williams, who did pretty good from a rush perspective when needed, but I think he was more of a third down back. We just have to figure out how all these pieces are going to work out. You got some other auxiliary pieces like Ronnie Rivers and Tariq Cohen, where I could see Ronnie Rivers mainly looking at maybe punt returner potentially, but nothing more than that. So I think maybe a fourth running back can come into place. You look at Tariq Cohen as probably moving on from him and giving him an opportunity to maybe find another team and be successful there. From a receiving perspective, I think I saw some great things. Cooper Kupp was out for about 6 weeks and still ended up with 1,400 yards, 5 touchdowns only. We had 87 receptions. Another immaculate year for Cooper Kupp. The surprise is the late round Puka Nacua, who in my opinion could continue to be a future star here, where probably around the time when Cooper Kupp is no longer in the NFL, Puka will be at a point where he could be very strong and hopefully be that future superstar receiver for the Rams. Tyler Higbee, who we signed for a 3-year extension or 2-year extension, in my opinion, is playing in a way that shows that having a reliable tight end for any quarterback is going to be helpful. He had 67 receptions for 634 yards, only 4 touchdowns, but I thought he played well. The surprise for me was Tutu Atwell. He only had 38 receptions, but these receptions were so key at moments. He had 568 yards, 4 touchdowns, but there were certain things that he did that I felt like if we need him, we can rock with him. So I could see him being a wide receiver 3, wide receiver, up to a wide receiver 5, or as low as a wide receiver 5. But Tutu Atwell, in my opinion, will probably be here for the future. The other tight end in Bryson Hopkins is something that, based on the cap that we have, that might be okay for us to keep. Bryson Hopkins, to me, is a player that I believe in. And as long as he's willing to come in for a team-friendly deal, I'd be down to bring him back. You got Davis Allen as well, who I thought did okay with what he was doing. He was a main blocker for anything. When you look at the O-line, I'd say they played pretty well. Didn't give up too many sacks. I think they played pretty well together. My whole thing is the injury of Steve Avila at certain points of the year were very tough. He was out for a decent amount of weeks, but even the games that he did play, he wasn't there. He was always quite hurt. The surprise to me was center Coleman Shelton, who in my opinion played pretty well. He played 16 games and only gave up 2 sacks. I think this is a player that we can continue to lean on. He is titled as a bridge player, and I think I'd be okay with that if we can find the right center for us, maybe in this draft. Rob Havenstein, he's with us for 1 more year. He's currently 31 years old. He'll be 32 in the next season, but I don't think that's a bad thing for us. I think this is a player here that could play that right tackle position for the remainder of his contract. And he currently has 1 more year left after this season, so I say, why the heck not? You know, we keep him there at right tackle, and perhaps even look at a right tackle in the future. When you look at the defense, I'd say Ernest Jones played as best as he could as a third-year linebacker. Troy Reeder has been a nice backup, but I've seen some things in Jake Hummel who could really show up. So from a cap perspective, if Troy Reeder doesn't work out, I'd be okay with bringing in some other pieces. And we do got some guys like Darian Beavers that can rock at middle linebacker, and like I said, Jake Hummel. So there's some decent pieces right there that I'm hoping can kind of work out. I am going to focus on bringing in players like John Johnson and Jordan Fuller back. That's a big focus for me, as I feel like these are two safeties that, when working in tandem, can be quite great. I think they really played in a way that just made me feel good with what they were doing. Now the cap starts to impact us quite a bit, and it's because we're not going to let go of certain players like Aaron Donald, Cooper Kupp, or Matthew Stafford. So we have to consider what we're going to do with the corners, and it's either going to be between Kobe Durant or Duke Shelley if they're up for contract. The rookie Travius Hodges-Tomlinson honestly played pretty well, and I think we have ourselves a slot corner that I can stick with for quite some time. Quentin Lake was a good, strong safety. Hoyt, honestly, he played well, man, and if he's not up for contract, I'm glad we have him. Some other pieces here, like Greedy Williams, I don't see bringing back. I'm really excited to see what's next for Kobe Turner. Kobe Turner, who had 8.5 sacks his rookie year, and he had 16 tackles for loss as well. And now with Yetur Gross-Matos here after the trade, I'm super excited. 14 tackles for loss, 7 sacks this year. This D-line is going to grow pretty well together. Jonah Williams is currently up for contract. Maybe, you know, I wouldn't be upset with that, but I have to consider our cap for sure. So now what we're going to do is go ahead and advance. And actually, before we do that, I want to think about what do we want to do from an offensive standpoint, right? There are certain pieces that have occurred, staff moves that happen across the league. You're looking at the OC and DC for the Bears are fired. You got Marshawn Wallace for the Bengals. The OC for the Bills is fired. You got the OC for the Cardinals and DC for the Cardinals fired. The OC for the Chargers is fired. The Colts, the Giants, the Jets, and then you got Dan Campbell who was fired. So that goes with this entire staff. Pete Carroll retired. And then it looks like, look at this, Ron Rivera, Robert Saleh, they're all gone. We fired the DC, and it's because I feel like I'd like to bring in another person. And that's why I'm considering, right? What if we brought in a good veteran former head coach to come in and rock it? Could we do something with Ron Rivera? Could we do something with Robert Saleh? I think that's something to consider there down the road. So, those are some of the moves there. Our guys, we're going to have to figure out, what do I want this identity of the team to look like? And with Sean McVay, we didn't have the greatest of years, but it didn't look like we were supposed to. I think we're in the middle of a rebuild. Last year was quite sufferable. This year, now we got picks. I think we have some opportunity here. So I'd like to continue to rock with Sean McVay. As far as the OC is concerned, I think this is the right playbook. The Rams playbook for the offense works very well. So we're going to continue to try to grow them. It's just about trying to get the right defensive coordinator to rock with us. So we'll go ahead and advance now and see what occurs here. When you look at the playoff schedule, you got the Ravens are the number 1 seed. You got the Jaguars and the Raiders. You got the Kansas City Chiefs and the Browns, followed by the Dolphins and the Titans. On the NFC side, you got the Cowboys with the number 1 seed, along with the Packers and the Saints, Falcons and the Buccaneers, and the Niners and the Eagles. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see who advances there. So it looks like the Jaguars have beaten the Raiders 28-7, so they advance. You got the Chiefs beating the Browns 38-31. And then you got the Dolphins beating the Titans 35-21. So the Jags are playing the Chiefs, Ravens playing the Dolphins. Over here, you're looking at the Packers beating the Saints. They advance. Falcons in a close one between their NFC South partners there. The Buccaneers losing. The Falcons beat them 13-7. And then the Eagles continue to dominate the Niners in a surprising fashion. They're 28-7. So looking forward to seeing how that will work out there. So we've advanced now to the NFC or the championship, and it looks like the Eagles beat the Cowboys 28-14, and the Packers beat the Falcons 21-17. So that's going to be an interesting setup. The Ravens beat the Dolphins in surprising fashion 24-21, and the Jaguars lose to the Chiefs 21-14. So Ravens and the Chiefs versus the Packers and the Eagles. Those are some pretty good ones right there. As we advance, it's looking like, you thought it would be a rematch, but Lamar Jackson comes in with the big upset and beats the Kansas City Chiefs 35-13. I think that has a lot to do with just the Chiefs' overall offensive scheme, right? You got Travis Kelce and you got Pat Mahomes and Isaiah Pacheco, but there's really not too many receivers there, where I feel like the Ravens, they just got to figure out what to do, knowing that Lamar Jackson's there. They got Rashad Bateman, Odell Beckham Jr., Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews, and it's the running backs that's an issue, but I think they have running backs that know the scheme, and Justice Hill and Gus Edwards, so not a bad play there. So I think they're just more a fully developed team, where the Chiefs, they have to cut some corners because of the cap issue that they currently have. The Eagles beat the brakes off the freaking Packers 38-7. I think the Packers had a very easy schedule, so that kind of makes it look like they were better than what they probably are. And the Eagles are really letting people know they want this Super Bowl now. And without Travis Kelce and the Chiefs being there, this is a very, very strong chance for the Ravens, for the Eagles to get it done. So 2 birds, this one. When you look at the bowl here, I'm definitely trying to see if we had anybody, and it looks like Matthew Stafford made the Pro Bowl, which is pretty awesome to see. Surprisingly, our running back rookie didn't get there, but it is what it is. I see Cooper Kupp, wide receiver 3, making the Pro Bowl there. That's awesome. You look at the O-line. Nothing there. On the D-line, look at this. The rookie Kobe Turner makes the Pro Bowl. That's pretty cool to see him get there. And Brett Mayer became is the kicker. That's pretty neat. And then Van Jefferson, kick returner, and Tyreek Cohen, punt returner. So we got some guys that actually made the Pro Bowl, which is kind of neat. So as we advance now to the Super Bowl, we'll go ahead and check out the yearly awards and see who kind of took it. MVP, no surprise, is Pat Mahomes. Dak Prescott almost made a run at it, but fell short. Coach of the Year, though, was the Cowboys' Mike McCarthy. When you look at the NFC, Jalen Hurts is the Offensive Player of the Year there. Cooper Kupp was at the bottom, but he was on the list. Aaron Donald, number 2 to Micah Parsons. That's kind of surprising right there. Isaiah Simmons made this list, though, for the Giants. That's kind of neat. Rookie of the Year, Bijan Robinson. And Zach Evans and Puka Nacua were 3 and 4 on the voting. Jaden Reed was number 2. Defensive Rookie of the Year, though, we had 2 dogs on this team, Byron Young and Kobe Turner, and Byron ends up winning it, which is awesome to see that the Rams actually played some pretty good games. Best QB was Dak Prescott, Bijan getting it done there as the wide running back for the NFC. Zach Evans was number 5 on this list. Wide receivers, Cooper Kupp, surprisingly, was 5 on the list. He was behind Devontae Smith, Chris Olave, Jaden Reed, and CeeDee Lamb. Best O-line goes to Tyron Smith. Best D-line goes to Micah Parsons, followed by Aaron Donald. Linebacker is going to be Brian Burns. And then best DB is going to be Jair Alexander. So pretty good group of players right there. I can't complain, man. When I look at that, I think like the Rams are just not there yet. They're going to need a couple more years where they become truly competitive. And who knows if Sean McVay is going to be here. Byron Young looks to get some development there, and he look at this. He gets star dev plus an additional superstar dev for being rookie of the year. He gets two points on this one, which is awesome. But the big thing for me is his development. If we can get him right, man, it's going to be a sweet, sweet day right here. Let's go ahead and continue to grow his speed move. I think he could be a good piece for us, man. This is a future piece. Him and Ernest Jones could really grow together in the linebacking role. So now we will go ahead and advance to the offseason, and let's see who wins the Super Bowl. Is it the Eagles or the Baltimore Ravens here? And it will be the Eagles! So Jason Kelce gets a Super Bowl. James Bradbury, who was the unlucky corner on a penalty against the Chiefs the previous Super Bowl, ends up redeeming himself and becomes the MVP of this Super Bowl, beating the Ravens 34-27. That is pretty cool right there. Close game, but it's nice to see Jason Kelce getting the Super Bowl. I'm a Giants fan, but I actually do like some of the players, definitely on the Eagles. They got some good people there, man, and kind of wish the Giants would have some, but that comes with time, and it's pretty cool to see those guys work through it. So congratulations to the Eagles getting to the Super Bowl and taking it home. When you look at the retirements, there's some key players here that you think about to try to see who will make it. Ryan Tannehill is a surprise for me. So it looks like the Titans are going to probably have to lean on the rookie they drafted this year in Will Levis, or work with Malik Willis and go from there. Patrick Peterson and Cameron Hayward retiring is a big surprise for me. You got Logan Thomas retiring. You got Robert Quinn retiring. Adam Thielen calls it quits. And Ndamukong Suh tried to rock it with the Packers. They fell short. He's donezo. Linval Joseph, Dwayne Brown, Aaron Rodgers, Thomas Morstead retire. Jason Kelce and Lane Johnson ride into the sunset. They are done, and it's well deserved. These two players right here were key components of the Eagles, but now they're going to have to figure out how they're going to build that O-line now. They don't have these veterans there. Where will the Eagles go after this Super Bowl? Calais Campbell retires. You got Carlos Dunlap, Raheem Mostert, Matt Prater, Kelvin Beachum retire. Some pretty good pieces. Jimmy Graham is gone. Julio Jones is done. Joe Flacco. Duvernay. I think he actually retired in real life too. And seeing Pete Carroll retired too. I do not know what's going to happen with those Seahawks there. So pretty good setup, but this leaves us room now to, I believe, after the Super Bowl, you can actually hire a head coach. You can actually hire a head coach to play a coordinator position. Now, when doing so, it doesn't necessarily mean that they will keep all their pieces. It just means that's where they'll be. So when I look at these players, I go, who is a very good defensive mind coach that we can bring in, right? Who can work through it? And the players that I'm looking at right now, that they're going to start over, of course, but I look at somebody like Robert Saleh running the 4-3 cover 3, or Ron Rivera running the base 4-3. Now, if we did do the base 4-3, the positive with that is that he would, it would fit our most of our scheme, knowing we were a base 3-4. So a lot of the development or scheme sets would work out for us. But does the 4-3 from Washington really fit with how we're wanting to play? Maybe. But I do love how Robert Saleh really just kills it from a defensive perspective. And Sean McVay and Robert Saleh have had clashes in that division, as Robert Saleh was the defensive coordinator for the Niners. So could we do that? Could we bring him in? And would he work well with our guy? And I think what I'd like to do here is rock with Robert Saleh. Let's go ahead and hire him here. He's going to be our new DC. Now, although he's our new DC, like I said, when you are a head coach and you get demoted to a coordinator, you lose all those pieces. He is a defensive back guru. So that's going to help us out, in my opinion, with the corners that we're going to clash with. So we got some staff points here. What I'd like to do is go ahead and just use that right there to get that discount going to allow us to focus on those players down the road. So I'm pretty excited about it, knowing we got them. It's just going to take some time now to figure out how we're going to get these pieces rocking. So when you look at the mock draft here, the Cardinals are a #1 overall pick, and they're going to take, in this draft mock, they got Laiatu Latu from UCLA. The Lions, surprisingly, are at the top. They're going to go Chop Robinson. And this is a horrible mock. You got Caleb Williams to the Colts. They got Anthony Richardson. They got Marvin Harrison to the Bears, which I could see happening. They need a left tackle for the Jets, so Olu goes there. Cooper DeJean going to the Cardinals. Brock Bowers to the Commanders. That's a Commander move. Drake May to the Vikings. J.J. McCarthy. I've actually seen this in some mocks. J.J. McCarthy from Michigan going to the Giants. J.C. Latham to the Pats. Dallas Turner to the Chargers. Maybe they figure out how to kind of work through that. This would be an amazing move for the Steelers. Joe Alt falling to them at 12. Jerzon Newton to the Bears. Jared Verse to the Broncos. Bo Nix is going to compete over there for the future quarterback. The Rams, looking at Michael Penix. That'd be kind of dope. I'd actually like that kind of move right there. Malik Neighbors to the Bills. Kool-Aid McKinstry to the Saints. Amarius Mims, that's actually a player I'm a big advocate for if the Giants can get him. And the reason why is Amarius Mims played with Andrew Thomas, and they know each other very well, and that blocking from that offensive line was stupendous. So you bring someone like Amarius Mims there, you can move Evan Neal around and you have a shot. That's actually a player I really am a fan of. I don't know what Talise, Oregon State to the Niners. It looks like a lot of tackles are leaving this first round. Emeka Egbuka, the Cowboys just continue to lean on wide receivers here, trying to find some moves. And there it is, the Eagles, without Jason Kelsey, they're going to find their guy in Cedric Von Braun from Georgia. That's a great pick right there. Cedric Von Braun was supposed to be in last year's draft, decided to go back, and that's actually a great if that were to happen. But we got a long ways to go here as we're still in the re-sign period. So let's look at, we got 24 players currently up. We got $57 million. So what do I want to do here? In my opinion, I think John Johnson is deserving of a decent contract. He's currently 28 years old. We keep until he's about 30. That's $7 million a year. I think that's a fair deal, and I'm happy to have him here. When you look at Jordan Fuller is not looking for a whole lot. I think if we can give him like 3.3 for 2 years at 26 years old, that's a fair deal, and I'm happy we're able to keep him. Kevin Dotson, this is a player we traded for, and this is an offensive line that I really want to have in place for the future. So if he's willing to take $6 million a year, I'm hoping we can do that with Kevin Dotson, and it looks like we were lucky to keep him. So money is starting to move. Van Jefferson, we will move on from. He is not interested. A player we traded for, Yetur Gross-Matos. This is a player that I'd love to keep on this team. And I think what's fair here is probably about $5.5 million for 2 years. And he's willing to take that, and I'm happy for him. Greedy Williams, I think we're going to have to move on from him. Just not the right fit. Demarcus Robinson, I'd say this, at 30 years old, if he's willing to take like a 1-year deal for like $3 million, I'm willing to do it. And he's going to go ahead and test free agency. I think that makes a whole lot of sense. Keller Weatherspoon will move on from. Duke Shelley, I liked him, but I'm not going to deal with that if he's not interested. Michael Hoyt, 2-year deal. He's not asking for a whole lot of money. I think for 2 years, if we were to give him $2.5 million total, that would be his yearly salary, though. I think we're going to have to move on from Hoyt and maybe bring him in down the road if necessary. We'll check him out. AJ Jackson, Looking for some money. We're going to have to move on from him. Darian Beavers, he's not asking for a lot. So my hope is that can he take 1.5 million and he's going to play for another team. I'm a Darian Beavers fan, but I'm not going to outbid myself. Zachary Thomas, he's not asking for a lot. Let's see if he's want to take 2 here. He's going to go ahead and test. He didn't want to grab that one. I get it. Ronnie Rivers is up, so we're going to go ahead and let him go. Justin Schaefer, I actually really like this player with how he blocked. A 1-year deal is not really in the cards though for me. I mean, if he goes like this, maybe. So he is. So Justin Schaefer, I think he's a good depth piece. He really helped us out when we were losing our guards. But I'm going to have to retool that O-line in general. You got Bryson Hopkins here. I really like him. He's not asking for a lot of money. Like overall, that's just like $1.5 million. So I'm hoping he takes that. And he does. So pretty happy to have Bryson Hopkins back. That's a good tight end 2/3 for us. Troy Reader, he's looking at about $2 million a year. He's not really interested. We'll move on from him. Same thing with Roseboom. Tyreek Cohen, we'll let him go. So that, and then Jonah Williams. So Jonah Williams, he's looking at a 1-year deal. At 29 years old. I think we got some youth on the D-line there. I'm going to have to let him go. Tremaine Akram doesn't want to stay with us. Brett Rippon does, but I need to find a better backup. I think we're going to look at a corner. JPP, he's not asking for a lot, but maybe we'll see him in the free agency. Brett Mayer is looking to come back. Let's look at his player card. How much is he adapted? He's 34 years old. 92 kick power still, 80 freaking accuracy, but his awareness is 54. I think we're going to have to look for another kicker, especially if someone who's not interested. So we didn't sign too many players. When it comes down to it, you know, we have to play smart here. We got about 30 million in cap space. But all in all, this wasn't bad. So you got Bryson Hopkins for a 2-year deal. You got Justin Schaefer, a good backup coming back for us. Yetur Gross-Matos, Kevin Dotson, Jordan Fuller, and John Johnson III. So not too bad. 6 players who I really believe in. And with $30 million, we're going to have to get crazy. I need to figure out who I'm willing to restructure. That's another piece that I have to consider there. Because when it comes down to it, we're going to have to restructure one of these players. Is it going to be Matthew Stafford? Is it going to be Aaron Donald or Cooper Kupp? I think if I'm going to restructure 2 players, it's going to probably be Aaron Donald, and it's probably going to be Cooper Kupp, because I do not want to keep Matthew Stafford longer than I need to. So, we got 51 players currently on the roster with $32 million. As I said here, what I'd like to do is restructure some contracts, and that would give us room right here. So if you look at this, we'll free up 12.6 million, and it's going to be added 6.27 per year for his final 2 years of his contract. So that's going to give us some room to kind of make some moves this year. So I'm cool to restructure Cooper Kupp's contract. And what I want to do is, rather than trying to like open the floodgates immediately for the free agency with 45 million, I want to see what we have. If there's a player that I really love and we run out of money, then I will restructure Aaron Donald's contract. But before we get to the free agents, let's check out the combine results for some of the players that I would like to look at today. So, you know, it's no surprise that you got Caleb Williams up there along with Drake May. But if I'm going to be realistic here with some of the guys that I'd like to look at, it's Amarius Mims, who I'm really interested in. 6'7", 340. And this guy's got all the reps. Oh my gosh. But I need to think about what are we trying to do now, and the QB situation is probably what I should be focusing on. Michael Penix, he's 24 years old. He's a little older. He's got a fast, compact, traditional motion. Vast majority of his success, he's a pocket passer. He does well to avoid sacks. And he's honestly pretty decent, and he's got great throw power. So that's the kind of player I'd love to have for the for the Rams. If he's not available, then I definitely want to think about some other cats here in the later rounds. I think a left tackle is definitely something I'm looking at. Patrick Paul here from Houston. Yeah, he's not that great. So it's nice to see the combine involved on this one. I just don't, I am interested in a guard. And it looks like, as far as right guards are concerned, ain't that great. The only one I need to think about is Tate Ratledge. Kind of see what that looks like there. And then in the other piece, Donovan Jackson, Connor Colby, and Christian Haynes. Those are the three pieces I'd like to look at there. But I don't want to really focus on the draft yet until we have an understanding of what we'd like to go for. If you try to focus on players that you think you're going to get in the draft and you don't sign free agents ahead of time, that's what gets you in trouble. Because if teams know you want a gun for somebody, then they will reach for that person and ensure that you don't get them, which leaves you in a tough predicament. So I'm an advocate for, you get pieces that you feel can still sustain things if you can't get the draft. If you get the draft pieces and they fall in place for you on top of your free agents, now you have depth on your team. And I'm all for that. And when it comes to the Rams, they lack in depth in so many places. As you can see there, as far as the team rankings are concerned, pass yardage, we were number 1, but when it came to rush, we were 23. Defensive points per game, we were at the bottom. Defensive pass yardage, we were at the bottom. So when I look at those pieces there, I'm going, okay, we need to get some corners. We need to make sure we get a better running back crew there to ensure that we'll become more balanced with this team. And with how Matthew Stafford is playing, we're going to probably need that sooner than later. So let's check out the free agents. As a reminder to the rules here that we have set up, we set up the settings to where we can only have 1 player per evaluation period for the first stage. So I can only get 3 players total in the stage 1. In stage 2, I can get 3 players per evaluation stage, which means 9 players in stage 2 at the max. And then in stage 3, you can pick any player. It's unlimited amount, but one of the things that I did is because they're in stage 3, felt like they weren't that needed and no one else wants them, the most you can do is a 1-year deal for stage 3. So I think those are fair moves, and they're kind of more realistic with what we were trying to do here. So let's check out what we have here. So in surprising fashion, there are actually some really good pieces out there. You got Tyron Smith, a very good left tackle that's out there. You got Keenan Allen, Mike Williams are out there. So it looks like the Chargers are going to start over and just stick with Quentin Johnson and Jordan Palmer and kind of work it out there. You got Chidobe Awuzie, Michael Pierce, Cam Akers wants to come home, Bobby Wags wants to play for us. But I see some great concepts here. Khalil Mack would be amazing for the Rams. I think if we find an edge rusher on one end with Byron Young, my goodness, this is going to be amazing. You got Hunter Henry, Grant Delpit, which we don't need. Darnell Mooney would be really fun to have right there, man. That'd be an amazing player to have. But it looks like he doesn't want to rock with us until he finds that mentor. Jordan Brooks, him teamed up with freaking Ernest Jones would be amazing. You got Noah Fant out there. He's trying to find a new home. Taylor Lewan's been trying to play with a different team for a little bit. Mitch Morse is out there. Michael Davis, Levi Wallace, Isaiah Simmons. There's some pretty good cats. Avonte Maddox would be fun. So we only get 1 player. You got to be smart here in this eval period. So I want to look at some other potential options. It looks like Kirk Cousins is out there along with Baker Mayfield. And the thing is too is some teams are just like, we just need one, and this is what we're going to focus on, because all you get is one for this first one. So for each period, so everyone's really trying not to negotiate with anybody that they feel they can't work out. I look at these running backs, I can see them being there in the second stage. So like Zach Moss would be interesting, but I'm not going to, again, try to outbid myself. I really want to pay attention to the pieces that we have. Wide receivers, as great as these players are, we don't need them. Puka Nacua is playing really well. I'm willing to wait until the later rounds of the free agency to bring in some pieces that can work out, because like Rashid Shaheed would be very interesting for us. I'd be down to look at some other guys, even some veterans like Ray McLeod and Noah Brown. We got Greg Dortch out there. That'd be great to have someone like that, because now special teams would be in good order. So that's a piece that I'm willing to look at there. Tight ends, Hunter Henry's out there, Irv Smith, Zach Ertz, Jonnu Smith, Austin Hooper, CJ Uzama. But for me, it's more of a tight end 3 is what I'm looking at. I think Bryson Hopkins is playing just fine, so I think I'm not going to try to break the bank on a tight end here. But the O-line is the focus. And when I see somebody like Tyron Smith, I look at it as that is a piece that I'd be really excited to bring in. Why? Because Tyron Smith, to me, is a player that could grow with us. He is currently 33 years old, and he can help us out for the for at least the interim. He could be that bridge guy. He's only looking for a 1-year contract. Left guards that are out there right now, Damian Lewis is a great player I'd love to bring onto this team. He's not going to cost us a ton of money, but that can help secure a guard position. But we do got Steve Avila, so I don't know. As far as centers are concerned, like I said before, Shelton did pretty well, but Connor McGovern would be awesome to have here. I think that would be a fair move for us. You look at Lucas Patrick, another veteran who I'd be down to bring in, along with maybe Nick Harris, who's a little younger. That wouldn't be a bad move there. Right guard, John Runyon. You got veteran Trey Turner out there. I think I'd be cool with somebody like him because he's got great awareness, he's got good strength, and he can really help out with the O-line down the road. Gabe Jackson is another one. Right tackle isn't a super need, and there honestly isn't too many out there that are that. When you look at the defensive ends, there are some players that really want to rock with us. Bryce Huff being one of them. You got Kingsley Kiki. You got Jonah Williams, who would like to come back. Marquise Copeland. There's actually a lot of players that would love to play with this defense. So when I see things like that, it definitely lets me know that we have some areas of opportunity and some chances to grab those down the road. Defensive tackle, I am definitely interested in looking at because I need some more rotation in there. With no Jonah Williams, we got Bobby Brown there. I'd like to see if we can bring some more veterans to help out Kobe Turner. So, it's nice to know that there are some players that would like to play for us. Looks like we get a chance for some private workouts here. And if I'm going to look at any player here as far as a workout is concerned, I'd like to look at some linebackers that might be able to change the game. I see somebody like Curtis Jacobs here in the 3rd round. That could be pretty interesting. I'd like to look at a corner. Kool-Aid McKinstry comes to mind as a player I'd like to consider if he falls to us as a potential pick in the 1st round. I need to know what we have there. So we're going to look at Curtis Jacobs in the mid-round, Kool-Aid McKinstry around the 1st round, and Michael Penix. That's going to be rough. But those are the players I'd like to see. So as far as the free agency recap is concerned, signings that we made on were Tyron Smith, great veteran. Like I said, this is a move that I feel could really help us out, like an Andrew Whitworth type of decision that occurred, bringing a good veteran that could work with the O-line. We brought in another veteran on the D-line here in Khalil Mack. In my opinion, this is a big deal here. Khalil Mack, Aaron Donald, That's the kind of move you can make right now for the Rams to really just keep that defense humming. We brought in a very good veteran and a consistent kicker in Kaimi Fairbairn. We have another young corner who I think can grow there alongside Kobe Durant. We have a special teams guy in Greg Dortch. Depth in Travis Gibson in the linebacker position. A mentor, Christian Kirksey, for middle linebacker role. A mentor for the wide receivers in Robert Woods. We brought in a fullback to help us out as well. So by us having Ben Mason, cutting Hunter Long to give us some space in cap is not a bad move. It's okay. So pretty happy with that move, pretty happy with that decision. So now we are heading into the draft. I feel like we've grabbed some players that help us out for the long haul. I also feel like we've been able to grab some players that could just help us until we have the right rookies in place to help them out. The O-line, I think, has got a good mix now with some veterans, and my hope is that Steve Avila can really rock out when it comes to being the new center for the Los Angeles Rams. The tight end group could use some help, as we do have Higbee, Hopkins, and Davis Allen. But I think having this fullback could really help us to where we don't have to have another tight end if necessary. The wide receiver group, I think, is going to be fine, because with Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua there, along with Tutu Atwell, I think we got a good trio that could rock through it if necessary. Greg Dortch is more of a special teams person, but I feel like he's going to be all right. And having Robert Woods on the team again is going to allow us to have a mentor to kind of grow these youth, the youth of the group over time. So maybe we do draft a wide receiver. We only got 2 running backs on the roster, so I have to consider drafting a running back if needed. But we could also look for somebody in the in the preseason free agency. Quarterback is a thought. I could see that happening, as Stafford's going to be at 70 when the season starts. I think the defense is in a really good spot. Safeties are in a good place since we re-signed John Johnson and Jordan Fuller. The linebackers have some great youth. I think Travis Gibson could have a resurgence here in Los Angeles. Ernest Jones balls out. Another middle linebacker wouldn't be a bad deal, as we do have Christian Kirksey there. But this D-line has been upgraded in quite a bit. We got a 1-year rental here in Khalil Mack. I think with this 4-3, with having Aaron Donald and Kobe Turner, it's going to be nice. Kobe Durant, his OVR does not properly represent how good he has played for us in the last season, and with the free agent and Christian Fulton, I think we're going to be all right. Chris Fulton, I think we're going to be okay there. So corner is a need. There are a couple different positions that I have looked at for the Rams, and there's no particular order. Looking at a halfback, wide receiver, maybe a tight end. I'd like to see if we can get one O-line in there to kind of work this, because we do have 10 O-linemen, but I'd say 2 of them are probably not guaranteed. So grabbing some O-linemen wouldn't be bad. Some defensive ends to help us out, as Khalil Mack and Yetur Gross-Matos, if they go down, we're going to have issues on the edge. So grabbing someone on the edge wouldn't be a bad idea. Middle linebacker, having someone to be behind Ernest Jones too, in some of our formations that we have, because there are some 3-4 formations that we can use. Outside linebacker, like outside of Gibson and Young, if they go down, we got some UDFAs that may not work out, and Oshwan Mathis is going to get an opportunity potentially to get some reps there. The cornerback position is definitely a focus that we can look at here in this draft. Not necessarily have to start immediately, but I do want to see if we can get some more outside corners space. And then, of course, we are going to have to look at that. In this draft class, I went ahead and grabbed the most up-to-date draft class that I could. It's from Jack Move 916. He's got some really interesting classes so far, so I say let's rock him out and let's see what we can do. Now, because I updated that prior to right after the season, the free agency, we're not going to see the combine, so there's going to be a lot of just what do I need. So this is what I feel like I'd like to do in this draft, because it'll give us a chance to see how it can work. So first pick in the draft are going to the Arizona Cardinals, and many things can happen here. don't know what's going on. Why is it not showing? So the first pick in the draft, they could go Caleb Williams and really shock the world, but looks like they're going to go Marvin Harrison Jr. I'm honestly not upset with that move. I feel like that's a great play for the Cardinals. They're gonna have him and Hollywood Brown for Kyler Murray. That's gonna be pretty sick. The Lions, for some reason, fell down the draft, and they're gonna go after an O lineman. So they're getting Olu, despite not needing him, in my opinion. But we'll see what happens here. Now, the Colts were projected to go after Caleb Williams, although they have Anthony Richardson. So I don't know what's gonna happen there. Maybe we trade for Anthony Richardson, knowing that they have, if they go after Caleb Williams. So we'll see what happens here. So it looks like Caleb is being picked up and said, you know what, no more Anthony Richardson. That experiment's over. We're just going to bring in another rookie. That's a weird move for the Colts, in my opinion. I disagree with that. I get he's a great prospect, but you already have one. It doesn't make any sense. This is a good move right here for the Bears. I would think more O-line, but with Olu got, maybe they don't necessarily need that. But getting another defensive end right there, try to get that defense in order. They got TJ Edwards, they got Tremaine Edmonds, so I think having a guy like him is not a bad idea. We're gonna go ahead and we'll look at the first round, and then we will fast forward to our picks so we don't try to keep using this thing and messing that up. I want to make sure I'm always surprised to a certain extent. Joe Alt heading to the Jets. I think that's a great move for the Jets. They need a tackle. They need to try to figure out ways to get better there. Now, they don't have a quarterback, I think. So this is a little surprising, too. They could have grabbed Drake May, but they changed their mind. And look at the Cardinals. So they go after Marvin Harrison for their first pick. And with their second pick in the first round, they go Cooper DeJean in a corner. They do need corners. So the defense needs to get updated. I would have thought maybe a Jared Verse, but not a bad move whatsoever. Commanders are up here, and I could see them taking a quarterback. They do have Sam Howell, but maybe they fell in love with Howell, and this is something I think this is the right move for them too, because an O-line is 100% needed for these Commanders. Like, Sam Howell was running for his life, so getting that O-line getting some more resurgence in there, some more youth on that line would not be a bad idea for the Commanders. The Vikings are up here. And there you have it. They have found their new quarterback for the future. Drake May is heading to Minnesota. I believe Kirk Cousins, I know he got picked up by another team, so this is not a bad move for them. Him and Jefferson hopefully will grow together for the future. The Giants are up here, and they're going to go quarterback J.J. McCarthy from Michigan. I've actually seen him mocked to the Giants quite a bit. I'm not upset about this play, but I also don't feel like that would be the right move if I was the Giants. I would try to build around Daniel Jones, and then if he's not it, then we move on from him. Hold on, let me pause real quick. You got Amarius Mims going to the Patriots. That's a great move for the Patriots, as maybe they're going to try to lean on Mac Jones a little bit more. I thought they would maybe go quarterback here, but maybe Belichick or the Patriots organization has an idea. Chargers seem to keep messing up quite a bit, and in real life, they are having some struggles. I actually do like this move here. Dallas Turner, Khalil Mack is gone, so they need someone opposite of Joey Bosa. I think this is a great decision for them. So hopefully they could find a way to succeed, because for some reason the Chargers just can't get through it. Steelers are up here, and they need a whole lot, in my opinion. They got a lot of older players here, and I like this pick here for Chop Robinson from Penn State. As Cam Hayward's getting older. They need some more youth on that D-line to get straight, and TJ Watt on one end, Chop Robinson on another. Maybe they can find their way out one. O-line wouldn't have been a bad idea there as well. Bears' second pick is going to be Jerzon Newton from Illinois. I've seen a lot of hype around this guy. This dude's big. He creates a lot of pressure from the interior. So them doubling down on defense here is pretty solid for the Bears. I don't think those are bad moves. Hopefully they figure out their offense, though, because that's definitely an issue. The Broncos are up, and they're going to go Jared Verse. I would have thought quarterback. Since they do got Russell Wilson, I thought they would have figured out going after something for the future, but maybe not. Getting that defense, keeping that defense strong is never a bad idea as well. That's a good move for the Broncos, grabbing a very versatile edge rusher. And the Seahawks go ahead and take Bo Nix. So Bo Nix heading to the Seattle Seahawks. They're finding their heir apparent here behind Geno Smith. Now, how we look at this, right, is there are a couple different ways we can go after this. We can go after the best tight end in the draft in Brock Bowers. We can go after what's considered the best corner in this year's draft in Kool-Aid McKinstry. We can get a tackle if we want to. We can go after a quarterback here in this space. And as you can see, I do have players highlighted here, and Michael Penix is one of them, along with Emeka Egbuka from Ohio State. He's another receiver that I'd be really happy to have with Matthew Stafford there. So when I see pieces like that, I have to think, like, can we take a chance? Can we move on from these guys and feel pretty confident? Or maybe do we move back in the draft with hopes of finding something that we may like? Now, Michael Penix has been fully scouted, and it looks like he's going to be considered like a round 3 or 4 OVR. I don't know if that's stupendous, but it is something I am thinking about. Same thing with Cameron Ward. It looks like, again, he's like a mid-round value from an OVR standpoint. Does that make us feel any better? I don't know. I really don't, and I'm not about to kind of guess too much here. Michael Penix would be amazing for this team, but let's see what kind of value we could get here. So it looks like the Bills are saying, hey, you give us this pick, we'll give you the future 2025 pick, the future first in the 2026. We'll give you a 4th this year and a 7th next year. The Vikings are saying, hey man, we're willing to go all out. We're going to give you a bunch of 2nd round picks. The 2024 2nd, 2025, and 2026 2nd, a 5th this year, and a 7th next year. Vegas says, hey man, you can move back, but we'll just give you a 5th. You got the Jaguars saying, hey, you move back, we'll give you a 1st, 2nd, 5th, and 7th. The Falcons say, hey, you move back, we'll give you a 26th this year, a 2nd round this year, and a future 7th. Eagles are saying, dude, we'll just give you the next 2 first rounders. And the Colts are saying, we'll give you a future 1st rounder, a 4th this year, 7th, and a 26th. So none of those are really that appealing in my opinion. The only one that was somewhat within my range would be something like from the Bills, or the Bills, Eagles. The Jaguars are interesting because we would go all the way back to 27. They're not going to take a quarterback. Someone probably will, like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The 2024, but like accruing all these picks would be great to just give us a little bit more room. We would get 3 picks this year. But, you know, to move back 11 spots, I don't think that's crazy. But I'd say it's good to stand put. So Bo Nix goes to the Seahawks. I think we have to think about, do we pull the trigger on the quarterback now? And you know, I see players here that are pretty clean, and getting someone like Kool-Aid McKinstry here would be nice. Getting Michael Penix would be sweet for us. I think, you know, from an OVR standpoint, that means he's going to probably be like a high 60s kind of guy, or maybe a low 70s. And that's not horrible. I just look at it as, you know, he is a little older too. I think he's 24. So that's the kind of stuff right there where I'm like, man, I'm just not sure. I would like a corner. He's a man coverage kind of guy too, and put him on an island and kind of let him grow back there, and maybe we can let him rock the slot for a little bit. I think that's a good move. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm wondering if we did move back, what could we have? Maybe a running back. Could go after Barrett Carter as well. I think that could be pretty clean there. Getting someone like Barrett Carter to back up Ernest Jones would be nice, and being mentored by Kirksey would be pretty cool too. So I'm really trying to think through this to get the right person for us. Denzel Burke from Ohio State. Yeah, he's pretty good. So I think what we're going to do here for the first pick of the draft for the Rams, as much as I like Michael Penix, I just don't see myself reaching for him now. I think if Kool-Aid McKinstry fell this far, you got to take a chance on him. You got to hope it works out, and I think it does. Welcome to the team, 22-year-old Alabama alum, Kool-Aid McKinstry. He's got a hidden div, 89 speed, 90 acceleration, 90 change of direction. We can work with this, but I'm pretty happy knowing that we got him, and he can tackle. He's got some kick return situations too, so I'm really happy to have Kool-Aid on the team. Let's see what happens here. You got the Bills coming up now, and the Bills really don't need much. It's just about how do you continue to give weapons to Josh Allen? How do you ensure that your team continues to succeed? Because there are definitely players that you're not going to be able to keep everybody. You're going to have to start infusing more youth in some areas that will soon no longer have those vets. Malik Neighbors here from LSU is not a bad move for them. More speed. Gabe Davis is he's no longer there. I think he might have already left. So they need another receiver next to Stephon Diggs. The Cincinnati Bengals are up, and the Bengals are going to go after a tight end. They don't really have a natural tight end there, so it's not a bad move for him, for the Bengals. I would think O-line as well, but maybe all the O-linemen gone. The Saints are up now, and the Saints are going to go ahead and take Keon Coleman, big receiver, big target for Derek Carr. You got Chris Olave, you got Michael Thomas, and now you got Keon Coleman. They let Rashid Shaheed walk, so not a bad move there. Let's see what these Raiders do, and they go Mason Smith here from LSU. It's not a bad move for them, man. I really don't think that's a bad move. Buffing up that defense, seeing if they can find some pressure there. I would have thought maybe a quarterback, but it's not. Graham Barton is the best tackle left on the roster there, and that they're just trying to just say, hey, you know what? We got Tunsil, but you never know if injuries can happen. Why not continue to infuse that O-line? Maybe move Barton into the guard position, as he's a little smaller than a tackle. Talais from Oregon State, right tackle, going to the San Francisco 49ers. You got the Titans taking Kalen King from Penn State. That's a really good play right there for them. The Buccaneers take Braylon Trice from Washington. I would have thought they don't have a quarterback on their freaking board, so I thought they would have went after one, but I guess not. You got Emeka Egbuka, just as if the Dolphins don't need any more weapons. That's insane there. I would have thought maybe O-linemen or maybe some corners, but man, that's ridiculous how far he fell. Leonard Taylor from Miami heading to the Falcons. Jaguars take Nate Wiggins. That was one of the corners I was really paying attention to, man, from Clemson. He's a big dude. He's got some speed. The Cowboys are up, and they're going to go left tackle Kingsley Suamataia as they let Tyron Smith go. He's currently on our team now in the Rams, so that's really, it's expected that we're going to go after a tackle. The Chiefs are up, and they're going Cameron Kitchens from Miami. And then the Packers go Andrew Makuba, free safety. They continue that that tradition of not going wide receiver. Tyleik Williams moved all the way up. He was like someone in like our third round. What a play right there for the Ravens. They reached and they grabbed their best man. And the Eagles, the champions, they're going to go ahead and grab Cedric Von Prawn as Jason Kelsey has retired. So they get the best dude from Georgia. Not a bad move there. Like I said, we're going to go ahead and advance to our pick because I don't want to memorize these things. It looks like Tyler Nubin from the Minnesota strong safety. He's going to go to the Seahawks. So we're up now. Doesn't look like the quarterback we want is there. So I am thinking, now what do we do, right? We could go after Xavier Leggett. He's a bigger receiver that I had on my roster. We can go after a quarterback if we really want to. We can get Trey Benson here. That's a good move. It looks like the linebacker I wanted is no longer there. We can go after Troy Franklin here, a wide receiver. I don't think that's a bad move there. I would say this, when I look at someone like Xavier Leggett, he's a big guy. He's got decent speed. He's different than the other receivers that I have. Troy Franklin is more what we have. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I just look at it as he's a little thinner. So we snag him up. You know, it's just, I don't know. I'd say, you know, Xavier Leggett kind of fits with what I would like to do. Could go after someone like Trey Benson. Doesn't look like I have many other looks outside of that. Jack Nelson is who I'd like to take in the third round. I don't know if he makes it to us, to be honest. So, you know, do we get the guy Cameron Ward from Washington State? He seems to fit what we want. It's going to be a little bit of a reach, but he's got all the attributes that can probably work for us. I say there's nothing wrong with Cameron Ward. Is probably going to be quarterback. It's going to be Cameron Ward. He's 22 years old out of Washington State. I think this is a player that could really help us out when needed, and check him out in the preseason, see how he plays. But I'm really excited to see Cameron Ward on this team from Washington State. Normal dev, but he's got 93 throw power. I think he's got good speed too, 80 speed, 82 acceleration. We can get this done, man. Work through this. Not a bad move for the Los Angeles Rams. For the third round, it looks like Benjamin Urasek gets drafted by the Seahawks. We're up now, and we got to think about what do we want, right? Now, there's some people that aren't on our list here. Eichenberg is, but I think it's best for us to get a future tackle. And I really like O-linemen from Wisconsin. These are big guys. They know what they're doing. He's more of a pass-heavy kind of guy to pass block, A, finesse, A, pass block, and lead block's pretty solid. He looks like he could be a really good player for us. He's 22 years old. He's going to learn behind Tyron Smith for now. He doesn't have to be out there. Maybe we could move him to right tackle if needed as well. So welcome to the team, Jack Nelson. Hidden Dev, 87 strength, 70 speed, 78 acceleration, 72 agility from Wisconsin. He's a big guy, 6'7", man. This is the kind of player I'd be really excited to have on the team. So glad to have him in that one. And it looks like Cornelius Oregon gets drafted from the Seahawks to the Seahawks here. So what do we look for, right? Spencer Rattler's out here. This is day 3, guys. So there's some running backs I was looking at. Braylon Allen is one of them. This is a very big dude. 6'2", 245 pounds, right? He's the kind of guy here that I think could be really surprising for me. His carrying is okay. His stiff arm's solid. His spin move could be interesting. But he's a straight power back. And it's coming out of Wisconsin. So 20 years old. We're going to have him back there. Zach Evans is our starting running back. We got Kyron Williams playing our third down back, so Braylon Allen can just fit in as that power back and really kind of mix things up with. So I'm pretty excited for this. Braylon Allen, welcome to the team. Hidden Dev, 92 speed, 92 acceleration, 6'2", 245 pounds. This is a big dude, bro. Super excited about this. We might have found our freaking Steven Jackson. This guy is going to be a big move for us. So that's not bad. We get another hidden dev guy, but I'm pretty excited about him just being a very huge running back. Get a center here. Where are we at, right? I look at Frank Gore as another guy. We're in the UDFA range. This is where we're at. We're only in the 5th round, and we're in the UDFA range. What the heck? How did that happen? So when I see things like this, I have to think about, do we grab another running back? Because we currently only have 2. We grab that one, that's 3. So now I go, okay, do we grab another big dog, or do we grab some legacy here? I look at somebody like Frank Gore as from Southern Miss as having that legacy. There's something about the attitude of a player like that comes like Frank Gore. Frank Gore was Thanos, man. He just never broke. He was always ready to play, well into a point where everyone was like, I can't believe this guy's still freaking playing football. I love to have players around us like that can grow. Maybe he makes it, maybe he doesn't, maybe we put him on the practice squad, but I'd like to see what we can do here, potentially, right? So that's the kind of guy I'd like. Now there are some tight ends here that I was really interested in. Eric Ali from Iowa. Iowa's becoming tight end U. That's not a bad move. Grab another lineman here in Zion Nelson. That was a player I was looking at. I believe we got a couple more picks here, so I see players that I was thinking about bringing in, like some defensive ends, like Patrick Jenkins or Chico Bennett. I even liked Tiki here. So, oh man. So now when I look at this, Frank Gore, why isn't it showing? Why isn't it showing the right group then? It goes straight to that. Oh my gosh. The game's got a really bad glitch. Super cool, bro. I think I look at these corners here. 6'3", 196. Tiki looks pretty interesting. Thinking we're gonna do that. We're gonna grab Tiki here. Wow, dude, this game is so brutal. It's funny. I'd like to take someone here, 22 years old out of Georgia, just another corner. That can help us out. Get some more youth there. 91 speed, 90 acceleration, 84 jumping. He's a bigger guy. I think he's more instinctive though too. So I'd like to see what we can do with Tiki, coming from a pro style defense too. We head to the 6th round now, and this is where, again, we're just kind of taking shots at players. And I'd say let's go ahead and take a chance on Zion Nelson here, 23 out of Miami. I think, again, it's about trying to infuse more O-line here. 87 strength, norm dev, 6'5", 316, bigger dude. Probably move him into the guard position too if necessary, so we have some versatility there. So I'm glad we grabbed some more O-linemen. You got to build this team from the trenches. Oh, that D-lineman's gone. Oh no, he's right here. So I like Chico Bennett, coming out of Virginia. He's 6'4", 252. He's got A finesse and he's got B block shed. Like this is a find. I saw he has like elite everything. This is kind of a clean guy that might work out for us. Doesn't have any type of dev, but I think this is going to be very, very clean. It's A finesse, B block shed, B pursuit. He might be a very, very sneaky person that can make this team coming out of the 7th round. So not bad there. I'd say the team overall, we constructed, we leveraged the pieces that we did need. Kool-Aid McKinstry is a 76 overall. I'm pretty happy about that. He's going to work out. He's got good press. I think this is a player that we could really have start day one if necessary. 71 overall is Cameron Ward. I think we needed to take a chance on a player, see if maybe we have something here. 2nd round pick is a hefty capital, but doesn't necessarily mean he has to start immediately. What I'm pretty pumped here is check this out. You got Jack Nelson from Wisconsin, who is a 74 overall. He's got all the attributes to potentially start sooner. So, I look at that and I go, what if we moved Havenstein into the left guard position, might be able to do that. This is a really nice move right here. Braylon Allen. This dude is dog. Holy crap. He's number 29. Let's see what type of uniform he's got here. Okay, so he's rocking that. Okay, he's got the little turf tape. So that's a nice little play right there. I'm glad we grabbed the Braylon Allen. A little reach right here with Tiki Smith, but I think that's still not a bad move. Zion Nelson was a 73 overall, so we might have found some value there in Zion. Found him in the 6th round. So that'll do it for us today. When we get to the preseason, I'll talk about some of the offseason that I decided to pick up, but this was a good day for us, man. Pretty happy. This team is transforming into something very special, and with time, we'll get there. We're gonna see some big competition in certain areas. If you like what you saw, please drop a like, leave a comment, and importantly, subscribe to keep up with the series. The Rams are ready for their next chapter here in 2024. Let's see if we can get it done. Have yourself a good one.